When you face the Tampa Bay Lightning, what are some of the things that you guys are mindful of, especially when it comes to their offense?
Obviously, we know they're one of the most offensive, skilled teams in the league. They have good speed up top. They've got a lot of guys who can really score and can really expose you if you don't stay above them, if you don't win your battles. They can really make you pay. They have great goaltending. They won the cup 2 years in a row and played 3 finals for a reason. And they're a hard team to play against, and today's focus was about us, so we've got to make sure we're ready.
Tomorrow you're facing a Lightning team, Nikita Kucherov, and having another strong start. This team, when they're facing superstars like Matthews and Ovechkin, have been able to limit them from getting a lot of good opportunities. What do you all need to do to limit Kucherov and their other superstars tomorrow?
I think we're going to have a game plan against these guys, and I think it comes down to really execute it. And against great players, you obviously got to be really dialed in the D zone. You can't give them too much space, and got to be aware who you're on the ice with.
When the Devils are playing their best defensively, what are some of the little details that they're doing to help limit opportunities and keep their goalies from being blocked by an opponent?
I think if you're on, they're not going to have too much in front of our net or in the slot. Give a little bit more out in the outside, and if not, we open up things up, and those are the really dangerous chances we don't want. So we got to really come together and defend the inside of the ice there.
We keep hearing about these practices being very intentional. What have you liked about the practices, being able to help this team prepare for each new opponent?
He brings in great details that we work on and that we want to execute in games. And same today. I think it was a tough, good practice. I think we came in here, we worked, and got ready for tomorrow.
Daniil, I'm assuming that yesterday you got the news that you were going to be called up. What was that sort of like, and who called you?
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for me and a good chance. I'm excited, yeah.
One of the things talking to Coach Daniil earlier this year was he said that he really felt in the last half of last year you really started to find your game more. Did you feel that way, that it took you some time to adjust?
Say again, please.
Okay, so in the last couple of games of last season, Coach Daniil said he really saw the best of who you are as a player. Did you feel that in your game? Did you see that?
Yeah, I feel myself now much better like last year. I feel more comfortable with language and game. And my last season, first year in North America, and now I feel myself much better, yeah.
When it comes to your game, what was the biggest thing that you needed to feel comfortable?
Yeah, I need to play like hard and every shift, like play hard and smart and simple, and I think it's a good thing for me. Yeah.
And what did it mean to you to get the call up here?
Say again, please.
Okay. So when they called, how did it make you feel about your game when they decide you're the next guy that they want here?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's perfect for me, yeah.
Thank you. Start with the news this morning of Seamus going down and Daniil coming up. I want to start with Daniil and what sort of went into that process of maybe him being that next guy up, as much as you can be familiar with him so early.
Yeah, obviously, well, from my perspective, I only saw him in the one preseason game. I thought he did a good job for us in that game, so it was a good first impression. But obviously, there's history with the organization and management, so when it comes to a decision like this, that he's a guy they want to get a look at the NHL level, and it's easy for me, and to do that and get a look at him. And he fits the profile, bigger body, there's a left shot. As it relates to Casey, I think the decision was just made that to get him down to Utica and get him comfortable and get him rolling there. He's filled an incredible role for us. Done a great job to really help us in the early going here with the injuries that we've had, and to be able to overcome that, to get off to a decent start as a group. It's a credit to Seamus, the job that he's done. Obviously scored big goals, made big plays for us. But for a young defenseman like him, it's important to get down to the American League and really round out his game and get more minutes and be a big part of the team. Looks like Pesce and Luke Hughes, their return is at least I would say imminent, not tomorrow night, but it's imminent. It's getting closer, so just makes sense for us to get Casey down and comfortable, and at the same time you get someone like Misyul an opportunity.
Obviously, going down, we sort of see it as tiers, but for Seamus, he seems like a kid who has a pretty good level head about where he's at. How do you sort of think he handles that mentally?
I mean, a big part of why he was able to adjust so quickly and help us out here in the early going, I think, is just his maturity, his intelligence. So I think those things will serve him well to keep things in proper perspective. I do think the American League is a very important step for especially defensemen, but really for most players. They really do require that time. In some cases, the player is so good and so special that he gets to bypass that level. In some cases, the team just needs you before you're quite ready. In our case, we think we can be patient with someone like Seamus, give him an opportunity to really develop, and he's shown that he can help us, and we know where to find him. Opportunity presents itself, but I do think it's important for any young defenseman to get their time and get comfortable at the American League level.
I was just curious if, as a head coach, have you ever come across a situation where how a player sees himself and the role he wants on the team doesn't really match up with what the coaching staff and the team needs of him, and how you would handle that situation as a coach?
Well, I think it's fair to say that happens quite frequently, and it's a big part of the job because the reality is, you end up at the NHL level, you end up coaching, players that, for the most part, have always been the best player on their team their entire life, and in many cases in the American League, same kind of thing, or they get drafted extremely high, and then you come in and the same type of role or opportunity is not available, or maybe they're just not able to play that role. But everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. It's on the coach to slot them into the appropriate spot, and you talk them through it, you make them understand it. Every player is important. We've seen it already, how important the depth has been of our group. Whether it's been guys coming in to step up with injuries and playing more than maybe you thought they would. I look at someone like Kovacevic as an example. Or you just look at how important the penalty kill has been for us, and guys like Lazar and Bastian and what they've given us. Everybody needs to be able to play a role for you. And if you feel like you're capable of more, just show it. Make the coach look bad on a daily basis. That's really what your job is as a player, is to make it obvious that you deserve more. And then it's on the coach to find that and look to make it all work.
Yeah, still a very small sample size, but curious your thoughts on the impact Stefan Nason's had with that first power play unit, particularly like puck retrievals and that. So.
Yeah, I think it's been really good. The puck retrieval piece that you mentioned, I think, has been probably his greatest contribution to this point. We think there's more that can happen in around the net, and he'll find some trash in there to put in for us. But yeah, his ability to really be a driver of getting pucks back and keeping that group on offense has been really, really important. I think he really recognizes the value, and speaking of roles, he recognizes that's what he has to bring. So he's a dog on a bone on those loose pucks, and that's been really good to see. He also talks a great deal to the guys. He communicates very well. He knows exactly who he is, and has really developed himself as a solid net front guy. That's, when we signed him, we saw value in, and we're seeing some of that early on here.
When you think back to your days playing for the Tampa Bay Lightning, what are some of the memories, or what are some of the things that you still think about now?
Oh, having been division rivals with them and playing against them in the playoffs and such, I've kind of passed my playing days, but it was a chance to play in the NHL. We just spoke about it. In some cases, some teams, need to fast track you. I was one that I benefited. The team didn't have a lot of depth and was rebuilding and had opportunity for a young guy like myself that probably should have been in the American League more consistently. but I benefited from that. It's just an incredible place to live, and it's far different now than when it was when I played there, both in terms of the city and the community, but also the following of the team and what they've earned with the how incredible they've been. Inevitably or eventually the team just got to be too good for me to hang around there, but they've built an incredible program and obviously have a ton of respect for them.
When you think back to your first goal playing for the Lightning, I think it was November 5th, I won't say the year, against the Washington Capitals. What do you remember from that day, and what always will be the memory of that first NHL goal?
Yeah, I do. That I remember vividly. The way I recall it, we had just scored a goal. It was the shift after we had just scored, so the crowd was already pretty amped up, and then I scored again on a slap shot of all things, which the year prior I led the OHL in scoring. I don't know if I ever scored on a slap shot. So to score one down the wing, slap shot that found its way in on Olli Kolzig, who was coming off winning the Vezina Trophy. That was a big goal for me, big moment. Again, not a shot I expect to go in. I don't think Olli expected to go in either, as I believe he broke his stick over the crossbar after. So there was lots of stuff that went with it, but it was, it's nice to get that one. And, one of the benefits when you don't score many is you remember all of them pretty good.
Did you, Sally?
I was pretty happy, yeah. Yeah, it was good.